This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn reporting live from the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, if you were wondering whether the Democrats could outdo the Republicans in terms of rancor and chaos at their convention, the answer is yes. The Democrats' chair of this convention, Deborah Wasserman Schultz from Florida, is not only out, she was chased this morning from the Florida delegate breakfast. Haley Wilgus was with me for all the bedlam, Haley.
Wow, we did not expect our morning to start off like that. What's hard to sense from the video, Alan, is just how loud you were there. You know that these Bernie Sanders supporters were yelling over and over, shame, shame, shame. And she was having trouble speaking, even over the PA system. It was hard to hear what she was saying, and they struggled to get control of the event.
There are Bernie delegates here who still think that he's going to get the nomination.
Well, I think the facts are that Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine are going to be the candidates of the Democratic Party for president and vice president. They're outstanding candidates.
But Hillary Clinton is going to be nominated. She has the votes. He has endorsed her.
I just want you all to know.
Neither candidate has obtained 2,383 delegates. Therefore, it is a contested convention, and that is
not according to Bernie Sanders.
According to the math.
Well, this was my 7th political convention, Haley, and I have never seen anything quite like this.
It was amazing, and what we believe was a coordinated effort. They were holding up, printed out, not signs, but pieces of computer paper with emails and other messages written on there, and really got the news cycle started very early in this convention.
Well, in the words of Florida Senator Bob Graham, the former senator, he said to us, obviously we have just a little bit of work to do. We'll have more reaction from what happened this morning later in our broadcast on our roundtable, but for now, Ray, back to you.
Alan, before you go, a week ago today, you and I were both in Cleveland, and there was some tumult on the floor involving some anti-Trump delegates. How does last week compare to this week's unrest?
Well, it's a little bit different, Ray. You know, obviously, there was a lot of disruption at the Republican National Convention, and it played out right to the end of the week with Ted Cruz not endorsing Donald Trump. Here, it appears that the Bernie delegates are really more in your face about it. They are all over town. They're wearing their shirts. They are everywhere, part of every delegation, because he did have a substantial number of delegates. And as we saw this morning, they're simply not giving up.
So overall, a decidedly different mood early on in the week than what you saw in Cleveland, right?
A different mood. I mean, there is a lot of excitement about this convention, and there's no mistake that Hillary delegates are very enthusiastic about her and the fact that she would be the first nominee who is a woman to become president. And they are the majority here. You know, after all, Hillary Clinton got about 3 million more votes than Bernie Sanders did in this convention. But there is a certain substantial number, at least they're very loud about it, of Bernie or bust people who, as you heard from that young man that we talked to today, are still saying until Hillary Clinton goes over the needed number of delegates during the roll call vote, they are not going to give up hope that Bernie Sanders will take this nomination away.
And you can bet that Donald Trump's enjoying this a great deal. We'll have more from you in our roundtable later on in the broadcast. We'll have updates throughout the week, every newscast from Philadelphia right here on ABC 7, July 25th through July 28th, special live coverage. Other news now, new details on a shooting at a Fort Myers nightclub that left 2 teenagers dead. It also injured 17 others. Police responded to Club Blue after midnight after gunshots rang out during teen night. Victims range from 12 to 27 years of age. Police say 14-year-old Sean Achilles and 18-year-old Stefan Stauder were killed. Governor Rick Scott went to Fort Myers and had this reaction.
It's horrible when these things happen. The first thing you think about is, as a parent or grandparent, you know what the feeling would be like. You can't imagine this happening to any family. And anywhere in the country, anybody, anywhere in the world.
Police have detained 3 suspects, no motive determined, but they do not believe it was terrorism related. Also in Fort Myers, an update now on the data breaches on 21st Century Oncology, which has offices in Sarasota as well. More than a dozen federal class action lawsuits have been filed against the company after a third-party data breach compromised more than 2 million patient records. A judge wants the lawsuits on a single class action claim. 21st Century Oncology operates nearly 200 treatment centers, including several here on the Suncoast. At this hour, police in Sarasota are talking to members of the NAACP in the wake of a series of police-related shootings nationwide. It's underway at this hour at the Robert Taylor Community Complex. It follows the deaths of black men at the hands of police, as well as the murder of officers in Dallas and Baton Rouge. Now, part of tonight's conversation involves training police not to racially profile.
What have they done to ensure that a law enforcement officer doesn't draw a conclusion about an African-American or Hispanic young man, and have they dealt with their fear?
Now, among those at the meeting, the chief of police. The meeting goes till 8:30. We just found out, though, moments ago, there has been a health emergency in the meeting by one of the citizens attending, a cardiac issue perhaps. The meeting's being postponed, temporarily delayed for perhaps a few minutes. We'll have full coverage, though, tonight at 11 o'clock. Now on to Manatee County, where the County Commission will discuss a new noise ordinance. Updated language would give deputies more power to enforce noise laws. Penalties for breaking that law now include jail time. Palmetto city leaders opted not to be included in the crackdown, saying it could hurt downtown business, but the city of Bradenton is taking part in the ordinance unless they find the changes are too strict. A workshop on the noise ordinance is set for Wednesday afternoon at 1:30 on the 4th floor of the County Administration Building. There's talk tomorrow about increasing bus routes in Manatee County, but dropping service to Lakewood Ranch. Commissioners will consider ending service on State Road 70, a little east of the interstate. The majority of routes have a bus once every hour, but changes could cut that time in half. Another controversial issue, MCAT staff also asking to raise the cost of the Handy Bus, which serves residents with disabilities, from $2 to $3 per trip. That meeting's tomorrow at 1:30. If the changes are approved, they'll take effect this fall. Congressman Vern Buchanan says Manatee County is the epicenter of the deadly heroin health crisis. He's hoping to get a piece of new federal funding back on the Suncoast. He's requesting immediate funding to help treat the addiction, as well as promote the anti-drug education. The legislation comes as the number of overdoses begins to spike once again in Manatee County. Buchanan will visit the Manatee County Safe Children Coalition tomorrow to give details on this new federal funding program. New plans to bring affordable housing to Old Bradenton Road. Developer Harvey Vengroff is working with Fortson Homes on a 5-acre piece of land on that spot right there. Now, if all goes well, they'll build about 20 homes, about $200,000 a home. Vengroff's son says it's a part of a decade-long effort to improve the area around this particular piece of property.
We've picked up some apartment complexes and turned them around from being really rough areas to pretty livable.
You might recall the city of Sarasota recently gave Vengroff approval to develop land here off Fruitville Road and build hundreds of workforce apartments not too far from 301. Wanted, more electricians and plumbers. That's true. Career Source Suncoast says there are more than 85 job openings for electricians, plumbers, and other technical jobs. A survey of construction companies finds half of them plan to increase their workload in the coming years, which could make the problem even more severe.
We're probably the busiest now that we've been in terms of construction. There's literally over $500 million of construction going on in the downtown area.
Now, the Boys and Girls Club is starting a new training program to spark interest in the trades, and also local Votech schools are trying to help meet the demand as well. The numbers are out, and the most dangerous roundabout in Sarasota County is in Venice. Last year alone, 69 crashes at the Jacaranda roundabout. That's more than double the number of crashes at other roundabouts in the county. However, Jacaranda handles nearly twice the volume. The second busiest is Honore at Weber. Florida's DOT is going to spend more than $500,000 to add signs and make improvements at the Jacaranda location. The number of wrong-way crashes are up by more than a third in the past few years in Florida. Last year, there were almost 1,500 crashes caused by drivers going in the wrong direction, resulting in almost 100 fatalities statewide. And most of the crashes happen at night.
Folks are probably more fatigued in that time, and also a lot more distracted. We have cell phones and different things, radios, that distracts the other drivers. So we just need to be focused and pay attention to driving.
Most wrong-way accidents happen between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. Time now for the forecast. And Bob, I was in Cleveland all week. I thought I'd get a break from the heat, but it was just as hot up there last week.
Yeah, I was in Toledo last week, too. And I'll tell you what, Ray, it was hotter in Toledo than it was down here on Thursday and Friday. On 110, it felt like at one point up there. So it's nice to be back to Florida. I'm sure you agree. KCK webcam showing some clouds off in the distance this afternoon. Not much going on near the beaches. It was nice there as a result of, for the most part, southeasterly wind flow, a little drier air around, an upper level system kind of grabbing all the moisture and taking it with it right now off into the Gulf. There's one area of showers continuing at this hour. Nothing going on near the coast, but pretty heavy rainfall now just to the north of Hidden River. Had some showers there earlier. Some lightning strikes accompanying this storm at this point. Some very heavy rainfall, too. Could get some gusty winds up to 30 to 40 miles an hour near Fruitville Road. And Oakford had some rain starting to slacken off there a bit, heading toward Verna and places to the north. So keep an eye on this cell. Specifically Parrish, it's starting to bend a little bit more off toward the west, but for the most part moving due north at 10 miles an hour. Not much going on near the area beaches. Currently, we have 89 degrees and the dew point is at 72. We have a west to southwest wind at 9 and the pressure 30.03. The high today was pretty typical, and the low this morning was a couple degrees above average. Real dry air in the Atlantic. Look at this. This is the water vapor imagery, which shows a large swath of dry air continuing to progress toward the west. This will be in place, I think, throughout most of the work week. So what that means for us? Limited shower activity and thunderstorm activity in the afternoon. Normally this time of year it just blows up in the afternoon, but not the case this work week, as we'll see just a few showers. This upper level low kind of moves over land and does not have a chance to develop a surface reflection, so it will be a problem for some heavier rainfall over the southeast. But for us, we stay high and dry here right through Tuesday and Wednesday, all the way on in, I think, through Thursday. Water temperature, Gulf of Mexico now 87 degrees. Where it's rained, it cooled down just a little bit. For boaters, southeast winds, a light chop, and the water temperature now at 89 degrees. And the forecast, as far as tomorrow's forecast goes, some mid-level drying. That means only a 20% chance for a shower. High temperature in the low 90s and a southeast wind turn to the southwest. The extended forecast shapes up to be pretty typical by the weekend, but until then, we stay dry. Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday, rain chances below average. There'll still be a few out there, but not nearly the coverage and the intensity that we would normally see. Ray?
All right, thank you, Bob. Still to come, from a change in party leadership to protests from Sanders supporters, division is rampant in the city of brotherly love. Our roundtable is straight ahead. Stay with us.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now. Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WinGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WinGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Welcome back, everyone. Day one of the Democratic National Convention. We are joining our roundtable Alex Sink, the former chief financial officer for the state of Florida and former candidate for governor, Christine Jennings, the chairwoman of the Sarasota County Democratic Party, and our own Haley Wilgus. Thank you so much for joining us. We are just finishing the Florida delegation's breakfast on day one, and of course we had a very unfortunate situation when outgoing DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz tried to talk to delegates. Alex, what did you think? What's your reaction to what happened there?
Well, I was disappointed at the reaction of some of the Bernie Sanders delegates who were clearly organized ahead of time and disrupted the ability of Debbie to say what she wanted to say to her hometown delegation. But on the other hand, a lot of cheering and clapping and support for Debbie for 6 years of work that she's done, hard work as the DNC chair.
Haley, what did you see inside that fracas? That's the only thing I could think of in terms of describing it.
It was unbelievable. It was very loud. We were going live on Facebook. We captured the whole thing right from the stage, and I was standing just feet away from Debbie, but I could barely hear what she was saying, even over the PA system. The cheers were very loud. People were very passionate. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying, I think it was actually interesting to see how passionate people are with our political system and how this election is really bringing out a lot of those passions on all sides. So I thought it was kind of interesting to be at an event like this and to see people so passionate about what they believe in.
Christine, did you know this was coming? I mean, I know that there are Bernie supporters out there who, even at this stage, and we talked to a couple of them, who believe when we leave here on Thursday night that Bernie Sanders will be the nominee and not Hillary Clinton. Did you get wind of that in the weeks coming up to this?
I didn't expect this at the breakfast because this all has just occurred. I have been expecting some of this to take place on the floor because there have been many, many rumors that the Bernie people have been organizing and intend on being heard. So it did surprise me at the breakfast because it's always disrespectful not to let someone speak. But Senator Bob Graham did a great job of recognizing Debbie and what she has done for the DNC for the last few years. So, but it was a disappointment.
Alex, how concerned are you about the optics of this? Because every party wants to have a deliberate message come out of their convention. You know, last week there was a lot of disunity in Cleveland because of what Ted Cruz did. Were you hoping for something a little bit different here?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that what this is going to come down to is the message that Bernie gives his supporters. I understand he's meeting with his delegates this afternoon in advance of his speech tonight. And he's going to be speaking to all of his supporters from around the country tonight. And I believe that the election could hinge on how Bernie's message comes across tonight on primetime television. And my hope is, and my expectation is, that he's going to talk to the American people about the importance of coming together and electing Hillary Clinton to be the next president.
Can he even put out this fire?
Oh, absolutely. I totally believe he can. Look at what Hillary Clinton did for Barack Obama 8 years ago.
Haley, could you were hanging out with members of the Suncoast delegation from Sarasota and Manatee. How would you describe the split? Mostly Hillary supporters, but there are Bernie Sanders supporters here from Sarasota and Manatee.
Well, what I was told from those delegates is that within that group in our area, they are very peaceful about it. They mentioned that in some other areas of the state, and of course other areas of the country, some of the Bernie and Hillary delegates are not getting along. There's a lot of clashes, but in our area on the Suncoast, they said it's been very amicable, very peaceful, and they are seeing each other's differences, but going about it in a nicer way, and they've been able to get along through the process.
Of course, this began in the last couple of days because of the revelations from the WikiLeaks emails, and it does raise a legitimate question about whether the DNC had their thumbs down on the scale in favor of Hillary Clinton. I mean, the emails, they are what they are. When you read those emails, what went through your mind?
Well, there were a couple of people who, by their own admission, went over the top. And you know, Alan, I always say, don't put anything in writing or in an email that you don't want on the front page of the paper. And that rule was not abided by. But the thing that I can say is this, is that we know that Hillary Clinton received millions more votes than Bernie Sanders did. She won this primary election fair and square. And you know, I think that we'll all be together at the end, because the alternative, Donald Trump, is totally unacceptable for our country.
But Christine, you still have those Bernie delegates saying that this whole primary process was rigged. That, I mean, I've seen Bernie delegates talk about in New York State during the primary that somebody was whiting out ballots and putting Hillary's name on it, other than and whiting over Bernie's name. These people, they're saying this, they're on Facebook, they're obviously very, very vocal, and the question is, what kind of impact will this have on the Democrats in the long run?
From what I understand, one of our delegates from Sarasota was all for Bernie, but since Bernie did not win, she is still for Bernie, but she is supporting Hillary, and she is telling me, and she's supposed to send it to me, there's a message of unity that the Bernie supporters, that they want Hillary to read. Now, I don't know if that will get to Hillary Clinton, and I don't know if she will read it if it does get to her, but supposedly that would ease things. But this is totally up to Bernie and no one else. But I don't want us to all focus on Bernie and those delegates. There's a lot more of us here for Hillary and the wonderful Tim Kaine, and I really think that we should focus more on that than we should focus on some of them that are upset with Hillary.
Well, Haley, you know, the polls do show that even now the vast majority of Bernie supporters are going towards Hillary. But there are still those Bernie bus people, just like there are the Never Trump people who are still out there. So it's really a polarized electorate, isn't it?
It definitely is, and what I find interesting is we had Bernie Sanders come out publicly and say he's supporting Hillary Clinton, yet we have his supporters refusing to do the same thing, which is what I find so interesting, which is different than the Ted Cruz situation. You know, he didn't come out and say, I'm for Donald Trump, all my supporters get behind me. He stuck his ground. This is a little different, and we'll have to see, what he says this evening to solidify that. I don't know if that will change anything for the delegates, but it's been interesting.
I mean, I guess the question is, should Bernie Sanders done more at this point? Because as one of his supporters just said to me, he may have endorsed Hillary Clinton, but he did not release his delegates. He did not suspend his campaign.
I think everything's okay. I think that it's a process to go through. Remember, we had a very contentious primary when we had Barack Obama versus Hillary Clinton. And there were many Clinton supporters well into the summer, Alan, who were really not enthusiastic about Barack Obama. But at the end of the day, we have an important election. We've got to decide who our next president of the United States is going to be, and who's going to lead our country, and who's going to look after our economy and take care of our foreign affairs. And to me, there's no choice. It's Hillary Clinton.
And Christine, Michelle Obama is speaking tonight. There are a lot of other people. Is that kind of overshadowed for today?
I don't think so. I think it is a great way to kick off this
Michelle.
convention.
Wow.
Are you kidding? Look, girls, we are so excited.
Yeah.
No, we are so happy.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us. It should be an interesting night here at the first day of the Democratic National Convention. We'll be back in just a moment.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Well, as you've been hearing all day, the DNC began today without the party's chairperson, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Florida congressperson is announcing that she will step down as chair of the party after leaked documents revealed her bias toward having Hillary Clinton as the nominee. This morning, she spoke to an audience at the convention, and she was booed and heckled, shouts of shame. Here's what you had to say about the situation. Joanne Macharsky writes, "So much for a fair election process. Too bad these leaks didn't happen earlier on when the primaries were still going on. Then we would have seen a different result. Hillary would not have won." Chris Hurd wrote, "She is subverting our democracy. She is horrible, only concerned about her power instead of what's right for the common good of our country." Gilbert Egan writes, "Clinton and Wasserman Schultz need to be run out of the DNC on a rail. Now that would be historic. If it was revealed that election rigging was going on in the GOP, we would run them out." And Ollie Drummond wrote, "I'll tell you one thing, there are sheep on both sides of the race, but you don't find them in Bernie Sanders supporters." We'll keep track of this convention all night and all week long. Make sure you check our Facebook page as well for updates. Let us know what you're thinking. So that's all the time we have for tonight. We'll have updates from Alan at 11 as well as Haley, and I'll see you at 11 with an update from the Newtown meeting, and Scott Dennis will be in the anchor chair. We'll see you later on tonight.